et kui te tulete siia lähemale või vähemalt olete kuulda ulatuses, et me teid ka kuuleme, siis on kõik jumalast hästi. Nii et I hope that you understand all that. What is it? Yes? Selge, normaalne, kõik on korras. Väga hea. Nii et mina võtan siia punase tooli peale istet, tulge ka lähemale, siis me saame nii-öelda tekitada mitte, et on publik ja on etendus, vaid et see on nagu foorumteater, et me arutame mingite teemade üle üheskoos. Jah, ja siis ehk me saame ilma mikrofonida väga ei saa, sellepärast, et kuna meid filmitakse, siis oluline on, et see kõik käiks läbi mikrofoni, et siis heli jõuab ka nendesse väikestesse kõlaritesse. Jaa, Kaire nüüd räägib mikrofoni sisse ja siis kõik kõva häälega rääkijad tulevad siia lähemale, kes saavad kaasa mõelda.
So should I speak in English? Probably. Most of you speak Estonian also. Yeah? So shall we try in Estonian or in English? In English easier. Should I do translation or does everybody understand English? Kas on vaja teha tõlget ka? Teeme ikka nii nagu läheb, eks ju? So today we have... Liina, would you like to join us? Yeah. There's one vacant chair for you. So before you, we had a presentation by American Chamber of Commerce, who also touched slightly upon the topic of Estonia being the only country where the population is decreasing and actually quite rapidly decreasing. And it does influence the economy and it does influence the general, I don't know, even the mood people are having daily. It's really hard to meet people who are tired and overworked. And it's so visible. It's visible in every possible area. So Jam mentioned a couple of ideas they have to boost the economy. That means that Estonians too often look only the neighboring markets without being bold enough to go further on. And also they mentioned that to get the living and working permit nowadays, at least for people from the States, is a little bit easier than it was before. I don't know, do you agree with this? And how do we start from here? Maybe the best way is that you introduce yourselves. And then I propose the first topic or the discussion point, and then it just starts rolling. Do you agree? Okay.
Jaa, tere! Minu nimi on Patrik ja ma elan Eestis umbes 1 aasta. Ja ma töötan Tallinna Sadamas ja ma olen Saksamaalt. Ma tulen Saksamaalt, aga ja Eestis on väga huvitav koht. Yeah.
Well, hi, I'll just go to English straight away. My name is Ronnie. I come from Alexandria, Egypt, and I've been in Estonia for 3 years. Of course, many of you or of my friends here who know me well, they would know what my viewpoints over living in Estonia as a foreigner, especially as a foreigner who comes from a somewhat exotic place, as opposed to the usual suspects of the north, Finland, Sweden, maybe Germany as well. Yes, so maybe when it comes my turn once more, then I would share my views with you.
Okay. Tere. My name is Emilia. I come from Poland and I came here to Estonia to work. I've been here for 8 months now. But my story with Estonia goes back to 2009 when I was an Erasmus student here. And, well, basically Tartu University did this great job to bring me here again.
My name is Joseph. Maybe I'm from the furthest away of everybody being from New Zealand. My first time in Estonia was 2013 to go to a short winter school at Tallinn University for 3 weeks in the middle of January. So a climate more or less like it is right now. And then at the end of my university studies, I came back and am trying as best as possible to have, I guess, an interesting life experience.
Good morning. Tere. My name is Birte. I'm also from Germany, and I moved to Estonia about 3.5 years ago, and I work in Tallinn as an architect.
Tere, minu nimi on Liina. I'm from Asia. Inside of me, I mixed Chinese, Taiwanese, and Japanese. So I'm here more or less, has been here for 6 years. Yeah, I'm an entrepreneur. I have 2 sushi bar in Tallinn.
I think I start to be in Estonia. Why I started this discussion is that quite often I see Estonians are not ready to accept foreigners, period. We are not ready. I see it daily. I see daily in my cafe when we have foreign clients. Me, as my partner was a foreigner, and I have studied languages. For me, it's part of my life, has always been, and therefore I know the feeling of coming to a foreign country and having the feeling that I don't know where to go, I don't know to whom to talk, I don't know the basics. But in Estonia, it's even worse. It is beautiful what Emilia said, that not one nation speaks about the land and the language the way Estonians do. And I never thought about it, but this probably is true. If somebody even mentions the word laulupidu, then we basically get twice the size we are, you know. It's like really something so important that makes us also very, very important. But the downside of being in a nice way national, having these strong national feelings towards the land and towards the language, the downside is that maybe that's one of the main reasons we are afraid of accepting foreign cultures. Might be. The more I think about it, the more sense it makes to me, because how I explain the situation in Germany with the Turkish, you know, or the situation in Sweden with, you mentioned, guys from Africa, yeah, or the situation in Finland with Estonians. So it sort of like works out, but for us, nothing works out. Whatever color you are or whatever language you speak, we are sort of discontent all the time. No matter where you speak even Estonian, still you are a foreigner. And because so many Estonians go away, too many, and the few who come here and really want to give their share to Estonian economy, the Estonian culture, and make the country better in many ways, we just want to stick to our laulupidu. I give to you, Patrick, we had interesting talks with you. For example, you said that the Estonian tax system is good.
Well, yeah, compared to Germany, it's so simple. You don't need any tax advisor. And in Germany, for example, if you're an entrepreneur, you almost cannot do your taxes alone anymore. You have to have someone who helps you. And of course, as Germany is a big country, now around 1.5 million people work in the sector. Yes, because the tax system is so complicated. And in here, I really like it. It's simple, it's transparent, and everybody knows how to calculate with it. Because in Germany, there's almost every month a change, and only tax advisors know. And in the end of the year, as an entrepreneur, well, bad luck. Bad surprises come always. So that's why I like it. It's simple, it's clear, and it is something you can calculate with. And this is very seldom in the European area, to my mind.
Yeah, I would tend to agree with this, that the system is simple and straightforward when it comes to corporate tax. But then when you come to tax, to employment tax, it's a different story. Because in order to, I mean, this is pretty much what a lot of people are complaining about as foreigners or as employees, even Estonians themselves. Well, the system imposes, well, it pushes up the liability over the company for employing an employee, whether foreigner or local. So in that sense, it is straightforward, but being fair would be a different topic, I guess.
I have not much experience in taxes. Taxes? No, I cannot say anything to taxes, no.
Well, I'm also like kind of agree with the gentleman's like point of view, because I'm running, you know, like my own business here. Compare this, you know, system we had in Asia, Japan, or in China, it's more simplified. You're turning me around, yeah. And well, if it's okay, maybe I could start like another, like a topic instead of the tax, yeah, because government is maybe watching us, yeah. Governor. yeah, okay, yeah, just a bit joking. Also, as being independent woman, I would just say that here, I also feel much more kind of easy to be like a single mom or like a, you know, women to living here. Most kind of societies like giving kind of respect and understanding, you know, like for that. So I feel much more kind of easy and also confidence to live here. So this is, you know, also good point, yeah, to be here.
Maybe to make the topic clearer, it's not only about the taxes, but when we keep moaning about every new law that the VAT office comes up with, it really pisses me off, pardon my French, but still it does. But if you say that the German VAT office changes the law every month, then, I mean, we should be really happy that we are not in Germany. But I'd like to turn back to this accepting foreigners in a work environment. Maybe let's narrow it down to the work environment. Who do you find working with Estonians, or how do you find working in Estonian company? Or do you feel difference whether the company is Estonian or international? So these points, yeah?
Well, Estonia is the first foreign country I work besides Switzerland. Well, and this is not so different to German. What I feel in here in Estonia is that the companies take more care of the employees compared to Germany. This is what I can feel. And it just starts how the offices are equipped, or that you're up to date even with some office software, such small things. And this is always a fight in Germany, in bigger companies especially. And in here it's not a problem. So this was very positive for me as a start. And but then coming to the business processes, sometimes it is, well, I'm used to Germany to even bigger companies. It's just the country is bigger and their employees of 50, 60 persons is even still a small-sized company. And here 50, 60 persons, employees, you're already a large company. And in Germany it is, you have different structures in bigger companies, and it's more that you work with strategies and that you have concepts. And this is sometimes, here I have a feeling that it is more that there is a frame. Yes, we want to have a strategy, but then, well, we don't stick to it. We change the plan in between, which might be, it is that the Estonian nature, people here are very flexible, and this is what I personally very much like. But in the case when you have a strategy or a concept, and then flexibility can kill the whole concept. Let's say it like this. And otherwise in working environment, it is, of course, as in every country, when you don't speak the mother language, you have difficulties. You have limited access to information, and so that is what I see for myself. It is to learn the language, and then it might get easier, but of course you will always be a foreigner. That is for sure, yeah. But it makes you more to get to the information. This is my point of view to this topic, just in very brief form.
I would agree with you also, mostly about this. But you spoke from the context of being employed in a company and you are working in an Estonian environment. However, you, just before going back to the point, but you, as an expat, you will anywhere in the world, you will always be a foreigner, in Estonia or anywhere else for that matter. But let me take just this point a couple of steps before going to actually being employed in an Estonian company, which getting access to employment in Estonia as a foreigner, so long if you don't have already a contract coming here. Then this, in my opinion, where the problem is lays, because no matter how colorful could be your background, professionally speaking, and then when you come here and then you go and speak to people and knock on doors and seek opportunities, then mostly what you get is, at least from my personal experience, was rejection, politely or sometimes impolitely. And I think in that sense it's not that open. So my background comes from finance for maybe 11, 12 years. Not only in my country, but I worked in Austria for a few years. I worked briefly in the UK, always in finance. I worked in Abu Dhabi as a private banker, investment banker. But then eventually coming with all this experience in Estonia, and then even if I knock the doors of multinationals, big size multinationals, then eventually they say, yes, okay, well, you are in finance and we are an international company, but our accounting team are mostly old Estonians, and if you don't speak the language, then there's no way you could communicate with them. Although the management is somewhat from different parts of Northern Europe. But the finance as a function in itself, normally the teams running the business, they are, let's say, only Estonian speakers, and in that sense I could not find a way. On another occasion there was a finance director position open for also an international company, quite a large one, which is a subsidiary of a larger group worldwide. It's one of the beer manufacturers. And then the position was advertised internationally, and I got to know about it from a friend of mine who lives in Singapore. He told me, okay, well, Ronnie, you're in Estonia, and this may suit you. So I applied, and I called the lady there, the HR person. And then I told her, okay, well, I see that this had been advertised internationally, but let me ask with all honesty, are you seeking an Estonian person for this position? And her answer to me was, not necessarily, however, we want somebody who is fluent Estonian. So for an international company in Estonia, advertised internationally for a job position, and they ask for somebody who's fluent Estonian, so eventually they are looking for an Estonian, because why would you be an American who's fluent Estonian? Or South African who's fluent in Estonian? I mean, unless you're like language Einstein or something, and this does not exist. So she was kind enough to get back to me, and she said, okay, well, we eventually will take an Estonian for the position. And then you can measure on this everything else and everywhere else you go. And then when you come back with that view over the finance industry worldwide, and then you want to come to Estonia and say, okay, well, I do this and that, and take me in your company. And then you get to realize that the finance as a function is, let's say, subtracted down to the Ramatupidaya function. And this is not financial management. This is being a bookkeeper or an accountant. So in the same time, it is not open enough to take people with experience in bigger organizations so that they can put the structures that would position the companies to grow even more. And I think this is the problem for me with employment and getting into the companies. However, I really believe what you said about being in an Estonian working environment, because on a human level or on a colleague cooperation level, I think Estonians are among the best one could work with. They're very dedicated, very goal-oriented, and they are very hardworking. So as a team of people, they're very good. But to get to be part of that team, this is, as a foreigner, or even as an Estonian with significant background, you would tend to go somewhere else, you know, to cash in on your experience at least.
Okay. I will share with you my experience from university, from Tallinn University, where I work in an international research project. And basically, there is 3 of us who came to Tallinn University already with money. So the university does not have to pay us anything. And there are a couple of points which I think relate to your questions, how we find ourselves in Estonian environment. Well, the first thing was that we expected somehow that if we come and if we add financially and to the debate in this certain discipline, it will be all right. But it isn't, because what I find most disturbing at my work is the idea that the argument, well, we are Estonians and we know better, we know everything better about Estonia, and this is not the point of research. The point is to talk and open for some other interpretations that might open your eyes for something else. And this is really like disturbing, but at the same time, it's changing, because there is still a place to show your opinion. I mean, we are still there, and we are slowly causing this change and making people get used to us and also listen to us in a way. So I'm not saying it's a situation, it's hopeless, like it's not changing. So, and another thing is a lack of trust, I would say, that the thing that we are foreigners is always brought up. And this is kind of weird, because like after 6 months you would think that you have colleagues and you have kind of developed your team. But whenever something happens or there is a decision to be taken, there is this point that, well, you're foreigners, probably you're not going to commit yourself to this place and you're not going to stay in Estonia. So there is this kind of assumption that Estonia is not attractive enough to stay for us as foreigners, to commit to it and to like really genuinely try to develop something in Estonia. So there is this assumption that we are going to leave anyway. So why should they commit to cooperation with us, and they do not expect us also to do the same. But again, I mean, it's something that can be changed with time, and probably the more of foreigners we have, the more the atmosphere changes. So this is like my experience. So this lack of trust probably is the major thing. Yeah.
Well, my working experience is that I work in a foreign company, a Swedish company who works across the Baltics and the Nordic countries. And I did get a job within 2 months of arriving as a graduate. But the point of that is the hiring panel was 1 Estonian who had lived abroad in Canada, 1 Finnish lady, and 1 Lithuanian. So I guess in that regard, you can't say I work for an Estonian company. But I would have to say I disagree to some point with the comments about the Estonian workers being flexible, in terms that in my company where I'm working, I find that people are so guarded, they keep everything to themselves. And gradually, as I spend more time there, I find I'm not the only one who thinks that things could be done better or things could be done more efficiently. But nobody will ever say anything. They all complain to their colleague next to them or their elukaaslane when they go home or their friends, but they never, ever say anything to the person who can actually make a difference to change the problem. So it feels really stagnant, like it's just staying where it is and nothing is moving. And I hear again and again people saying, well, it's just always been that way. That's just how we do it, and I don't think there's anything I can do to change it, so I'm not going to. So I have quite a frustration with that. And I definitely agree. Despite working in an international company, at least 60% of the workforce are Estonian. There are some Latvians and Lithuanians, some Swedes, and quite a large number of Russian-speaking Estonians. But there is definitely within the organization an entire second layer of communication that happens in Estonian, and there is a whole lot of information that the rest of us can sense is going on all in Estonian, and we simply just don't have access to it, and we can't break into that, no matter like how well we are starting to get on with the Estonian workers.
I think one point is that it's very difficult for foreigners to get a foot into the Estonian job market if you're not hired from abroad. It takes people a long time, and actually when we talked before, we had made similar experience. It takes us a long time to get a job, and I had sent a lot of applications, and I never ever received an answer. Not even, thank you for your application, we don't hire at the moment, good luck in your future. That's one sentence, and that could have even been in Estonian. That never ever, and that I found very rude actually. People do get jobs or interviews for jobs with knowing someone. I have the feeling in Estonia everybody knows everybody else. That's how I found my job, and somebody heard I'm looking for a job, I'm an architect, and so it went on and was successful. So as a foreigner you don't have that network, so that makes it, that's a barrier. And I think the biggest obstacle for us foreigners is the language. This I was told different before moving to Estonia. Before I moved here, I had made some talks with people in my professional field, and then they all said, "Oh, but nobody expects you to speak Estonian. It's who studies Estonian abroad?" Like you said that before, so they don't expect it, and that's absolutely wrong. If you don't speak Estonian, you cannot get a job here, and that is probably the same issue in Germany, where I'm from. The difference is that the German government pays you a language class to study German. And here I paid way over €1,000 already on language courses, and nobody, well, I can probably deduct it from taxes, but nobody is paying for that. Even when you pass the exam, you get only very few amount of that back. Oh, not anymore. Okay, that was the case 2 years ago. Okay, so I think if anybody wants to open this job market, then they should support people in studying Estonian. That would be my proposal. And since so many native Russian speakers live in Estonia, you would think that people already know that problem, because how are they learning Estonian? Yeah. Okay, so this would be one point. When you entered, then I think it's very professional, very polite, and a word is a word. Like I think it's good to make business here, or reliable. I have never made any bad experience once you're in that circle. And it takes a long time actually to feel comfortable, but then if you reach that point, then it's quite a nice working environment, I must say.
Well, I don't have too much experience to share here with you to be someone's employee. So as I mentioned in the beginning, I'm entrepreneur. So well, first of all, I would just agree most of the points. So like have your own company here is much, running by yourself. Especially I have really small, like the size of the restaurant. So or whatever. So you register online. You have one bookkeeping. Like make your report the tax and so on. So it's very simple. This is. I just feel much more simple compared to other countries have been lived. Yeah, but then I talk about the language. I was a kind of a hard, imagine in the beginning. Oh, I don't speak too much Estonian. How could I make this kind of food industry? And one of my sushi bars located in the city in center of the Tallinn. But well, I'm looking definitely from Asia. Another part of the world. So even I try my best to speak some Estonian, but I would just say that all of my Estonian customers or friends, they are really encouraged like me to speak more and more, even help with me. So this is, I was really appreciative for that. Then for some, I have maybe together, during the last 4 years, I have maybe together 5 Estonian employees working with me as a teams. I would just say all of them, I feel they have really hard to push them to, complete some kind of targets, because they have a kind of, I feel they have some kind of attitude. They think, okay, I know that. Even, even I was very kind of kindly, I think I'm kindly, sometimes, give some comments or advice. They will still keep, going on by their habits or whatever. But then from another side, all of them, they're very eager to learn something they don't know. Yeah, so this is good point of the Estonian part. But generally, I would just say that when I go around to have food, eat outside of the restaurant, I feel a little bit sad of, the service industry in Estonia. So people usually have really kind of cold, I call it a poker face, you just feel wondering, is the restaurant or you went to kind of a clinic, they feel kind of physically, pain and so on. Yeah.
Just before we go to the next point, then maybe we can. Now I think we were talking from this point. We can come out with two things, that we should make a difference between persons of autocrats and those with let's say entrepreneurs that are in business, like restaurants or bakeries or whatever else it is. So talking as somebody with corporate experience, coming to Estonia, trying to knock on the doors, as Birta said, and also Joseph and myself, and stepping foot into the job market, and the acceptance of such people is one issue. But if you come as a person who wants to open a restaurant and serve food, or if you want to go and work as a baker in a bakery, then I think this is much easier. We have somebody who joined our MTU courses for foreigners learning Estonian recently. She's coming from Spain, and she came here with the intention she wants to become a baker. She wants to work in a bakery, and within 1 week she got a job, and she is very happy with it. So in that sense, I think it would be good to the next point we jump to would be what kind of immigration and foreigners will come to Estonia, or people are moving around the world all the time. So I think the next point which could be what sets of skills this country would need people to come in with. Do we need more bakers? Do we need more, let's say, blue collars, or do we need white collars? What kind of people do we need? Do we need bakers? Do we need, I don't know, handymen? Nannies, whatever, or do we need investors? Do we need architects? Do we need engineers? Do we need who do we need here?
I want to test Raplas skills to speak foreign languages. I give the microphone to you, and they asked, what kind of specialists do we need? What kind of specialist Rapla needs? Do you have an opinion?
I don't know. It's hard to say what we need, but we have everything. Yeah.
Point proven. But Janek is the head of Rapla County Development Center, and maybe he has a different opinion, because Estonia is the fastest moving field of workforce is actually specialists who are going away. My point is that we need any kind of specialists, period.
Hello, it's very great to see you here. Of course, I don't know the final truth myself also, so actually nobody knows, because the needs are quite quickly changing. But as I know almost every company in our county, I can say that sometimes there are lack of higher educated specialists. Like we have, I think, world biggest yeast company close to here, we are making very very big part of yeast you use in wine making and also bakery. And we have cooperation with Estonian universities, but from Rapla county, among local people, I'm sure we don't find all the people from locals. Also, we have chemistry company is not the right word, but we are making paints and coatings, Pinotex, Hammerite, and other brands. And also we have some specialists who are driving from Tallinn to Rapla. So we have like specialists who are driving every day, daily, from Tallinn to Rapla. And this is much more longer ride than from Rapla to Tallinn, because it's quite common that people go to work from Rapla to Tallinn. So, which is some of branches or niches what came firstly on my head, but also we have a lot of metalworking, and we are also sometimes we are complaining that we don't find people from here. But in my mind, this is like not closed circle, but I hope this is like open circle. If you are preparing better living environment, you can get better people living here. And if you have better people living here, it's much more easier to find better workers. So this is like who is the first one? Is the living place or working place? And this is would be my question to our visitors. How is it really?
Well, now he goes away, but just to answer it, well, when I came here to work here, I have no parachute. I've quit my job in Germany, and you can believe me that my salary in Germany was much higher than here in Estonia. But it is, what is first? Is it the hen or the egg? It's always a question, and you can always complain about things, and there is where I disagree with some of our round, that there are always things which don't go the right way. You can always complain, or you can accept them and to work on them. And for me it is just, when you look at the facts, Estonia has a decreasing number of inhabitants. So when you're an entrepreneur, you build up a business and you want to grow, you need people working for you. And if your population is decreasing, what happens? There's much more competition in hiring the people, because there's a limited number. For me, as I come from Germany, a big country, I had to learn almost 1 year now that some things in Estonia are not available. Some services or some products, not just you're not able to bring them here, but they are just not the experts available in this country. There's just a limited number. Maybe in the special field, the one expert lives in Tartu, but not in Tallinn. And mostly the people live in Tallinn, but not in Rapla. And this is, they have just a small population, and the number is even decreasing. That means that the specialists are going in numbers down and down. And now this is a thing I give to you as the entrepreneurs, what to do. You can always blame the government. You don't give the right frames. But what do you as entrepreneurs do to change it? Because you're all, as I see, very young people. So you all are going to work 30 years or longer. So will you all, next 30 years, starting to complain about it? Or take it as a task to maybe make a start and to open up, to see where can I get skilled people? And maybe it is, yes, in foreigners you have to invest. They don't know what are the rules in the country, the unwritten rules. Yes, they have limited knowledge of the language. But this is something, a deal, which I heard before, the word trust. It means that the foreigner has to invest to learn things, but even in here it means that companies have to invest into people to develop. And this is what I just want to give to the point, how to see. I have made a step to how to say, I left a comfort zone. And when I see Estonia, it has a good potential, but what reputation does the country have outside of Estonia? And this is just what maybe you should think about. There is not a queue outside of Estonia waiting to work here. There are other places on this planet where it is much easier to find people to come in, and they build walls that they don't come there and whatever. But here there is no queue.
Actually, there's a queue to go out.
Well, there's not even a queue. You don't have the problem to leave the country. But it is just some thoughts, not about complaining. There are always obstacles. Yes, I see them every day. And yes, life in Estonia is more difficult than in Germany. Yes, you have to be more flexible, yes, but it makes it more interesting as well. There are more chances, more possibilities, but dangers as well, and risk, yes. And to develop this society with no risk, sorry, it will not work. It will be a slow death. This is my personal opinion.
Yeah, I was thinking, I think the thing that's really missing a lot is perhaps money, and the salaries don't keep Estonians here, they certainly don't attract foreigners, and what's missing, I guess, is investment. And for investment, you have to give people confidence. And what I really find is lacking in Estonia is there's this collective lack of self-confidence. It's not even how does Estonia appear to outside, it's how does Estonia appear to Estonians. Because I think all of us have many stories when we say that we live here, that the first question the Estonian asks is kind of like, why? Like, are you mad? Why did you come here? And all of us see plenty of good things in Estonia. Like, we really have good reasons to come here. We see so much potential for things to happen. We see a really, this innovative entrepreneurial spirit, and there's this real feeling that it's going to be something someday. It just has to get there. And I think a big part of that is Estonians have to believe in themselves, and they just have to speak up. Like, they have so many ideas and so many things going on, and it just takes such a long time of getting to know someone that they really share this idea with you, that they know something and they can do something and they can get somewhere with it. So I don't know how, but somehow we have to motivate you all to believe in yourselves and to tell us all you believe in yourselves and why we should too.
Yeah, to sum it up, I'd like to appeal to Estonians to give up the mentality of a victim and try to think of the country as something with great potential, with great things to offer, because it is there. But I mean, if people here don't believe it, nobody will ever believe it from abroad, actually. Well, we have our personal reasons, but apart from that, so yeah, no victim mentality.
I want to say something on the emotional side, on the laulupidu side. I moved to Estonia with a German family. My husband works at the university, and that was the reason why we came here. We have 2 children who go to a regular public school in Tallinn, Estonian school. And our initial plan was to stay here for 4 to 5 years. And last summer we decided to stay. And I have lived abroad for a longer time in the US, in Indonesia, and for 10 years in Austria. Maybe one point they take away my German passport because I don't show up there anymore. But I had the deepest and toughest culture shock in Estonia from all these countries. Even though we say often there are a lot of similarities to the German culture. And in my second year, I hated everything about this country. And if you would have given me a flight ticket, I'd be out of here immediately. And then came this point where I think after 2 years, I just fell in love with the country. because Estonia has this emotional side, which actually comes only in the summertime, I must say, that somehow touches your heart. And this is something I have never experienced in Germany before. So we decided, despite the fact that we're going to have less income, also on a long term here, financial-wise, to stay because other things got more important. And the song festival that happened this summer was even underlining this emotional part. And I think I also met a lot of Estonians who came back to Estonia after living for 4 years or 10 years in Sweden or Finland, because also this emotion takes them back. Yeah. So this is a potential this country has more than other countries. Yeah, that would be something positive to say.
Maybe just one more thing. I know how hard it is to cope here in Estonia with one job, with one salary. Many people have 2 or even 3 jobs. And they are so flexible and they organize family life, especially with the kids. You know, it's very difficult, and this is what I really admire, how it works in this country. And when there is this spirit and you're able to organize this field so well under such a pressure, to my mind there's lots of potential for entrepreneurship and even for a positive future, to be honest, to turn it into the right way. And it cannot be, you can blame the government that it is not normal to have 2 or 3 jobs to cope almost normally in your life. But of course this is the main thing which has to be changed. And just I told to my neighbor, the readiness of a country for foreigners, or even of the wealth of a country, shows what different kind of kitchen you can offer in your country. For me, it was for my whole lifetime in Germany, when I wanted to eat a pizza, I went to a pizzeria, and this pizzeria was run by an Italian. Or I went to a sushi bar, which was run by mostly Japanese people. Or a Chinese restaurant run by Chinese people. Here in Estonia, I had to learn that all the places are run mostly by Estonian or Russian people. And but this is just something which shows how attractive a place is for people from different countries to come here. This is just a thought, and this just shows on which level we are right now, to my mind.
I walked to Antsis. He is from our neighbor country. He is Latvian, true? And you have a company in Estonia. Yep. Would you say how it is to run a Latvian company, Estonian company, by a Latvian in Estonia, or vice versa, or something like that?
Yeah. First of all, thank you to everybody for such a wonderful event, and thank you for organizing it. I think this is wonderful, and it will be one of the answers what you should do, right? So I always believe that education is a main part of succeeding, and I think you have 2 main traits, or you have 2 main things you must do. So you have agronomy and you have human resource, right? So in a country size as we are in the Baltics, right, where nobody knows us in a worldwide, this is what we need to do. We need to grow our knowledge and skills and become more professional internally. That we will be demanded outside, but we can sell our products and services outside. Intelligence and agronomy. So we're building up the factory. For example, we do the cheese, or we have the milk factory. Yeah? So milk factory produce the yogurts, they produce the curd, they produce so many products. So we have long lines of the different items. But why we don't look on, for example, Holland? In Holland, there's one factory, 10 people, manufacturing one kind of cheese, supplying to all world. right? They're more efficient. They're more efficient, they have higher quality, they're known by a certain product, right? So we kind of, I think we could be more efficient in things we do. And we are very kind of blessed to have such a beautiful nature, right? So we can also trade that as a tourism. And I brought a lot of friends from outside to Latvia, and they came like, wow, this is some European pearl. They never seen such a greenery around, and we have that in the streets. I lived now for 4 years in Dubai, and believe me, to see the natural environment is so cool. Yeah? So you walk, there is natural grass, there's a forests, and people are running around. So we just need to take care of our environment. In the case of Rapla, I think it's really not like bringing people in from outside. It's making this place more attractive to the Estonians, building up agronomy, something manufacturing, coming back to the same first presentation, sell the products outside, right? So for us, we are kind of a company which is established in Latvia. But we believe that in all those countries where we work, it's Lithuania, Latvia, and Estonia, we are local companies there because it's a local team running the company. They applying certain philosophy. It's like if we look on the franchise models for any business, we keep this principle of the 60-40 ratio. So 60%, it's must how it should be. So this is our company visual, this is how we work, this is how we deal. 40% is up to the market. For example, we work in this market, but we now go to Malaysia. Malaysia has different traditions. So we need to adapt ourselves a little bit over there. Same happened with us over here in the Estonian market, yeah? So we're trying to get put our best practice to this market, but always you need to not to forget that we are slightly different in a cultural way, yeah? So language barriers as well, yeah? So that's why I think the concentrating local strength, keep these people not to leave the country. And that's education part. So these kind of seminars open a little bit eyes because we share experience and knowledge. People from the different fields are coming together and they can exchange. Guys, let's do it this way, yeah? Why don't we focus on these things? Somebody was abroad, get experience, came back, share it, yeah? So I think it's internal work and everything will be fine. Yeah, so we're a little bit pushed back by the Soviet times, right? So we need to make bigger steps and stronger steps to show what we are and highlight our strengths, which I believe it's really, we have fantastic nature, we have this agronomy, we can produce the products, and we have intelligence. And now, honestly, I see that even, I met people in Dubai sourcing IT products or intelligence from Baltics, yeah? So which means they have small teams which are under their companies abroad, which are actually working here. And all the intelligence work goes outside. Yeah? So that could be actually, that could expand, and so that could grow. Thank you.
Thank you. Jukka, sä oot suomalainen. Osaatko sä puhua meistä naapureista? Jukka, he's Finnish. Jukka is from Finland, and there is a little bit of small or sharp or bigger rivalry between these two countries. We always point at the Finns that I remember when I went to Finland in 1989 as an au pair. This was my first foreign experience, and I needed to, there's a long queue to pass the customs because they needed to check my passport and my luggage. And when I came back after 3 years, Estonia has got independence, and I laughed at the Finns. They needed to queue to come to Estonia. So I had my small victory, but I'm not so victorious today because the Finnish population is slightly growing. I don't know about the economy. I think it's also a little bit growing. No, stable, stuck. Okay. But I give to Jukka, let's hear his opinion also, because the neighbors are the closest markets and the closest enemies, so to speak. Let's hear their opinion.
So I have been here in Estonia now only like a little bit less than 1.5 years. I still go like almost every week to Helsinki for 1 or 2 days for meetings. And I kind of like, because of my business, I have PR, so public relations and communications agencies in Finland. And now I'm starting one here, and I have one in Ukraine, in the Western Ukraine, in the city of Lvov. So I'm like, because of the business, I'm following the Finnish news like on the regular basis. And you probably don't know, like Kairi said, that Finnish economy is like going down quite heavily at the moment. We are arguing if it's the second worst recession or third worst recession at the moment since the 1990s and since the 1930s. But our problem in Finland is that there will be the election in good 6 months in Finland. So no decisions are made at the moment. We have a very, how would I say, developed like social security system. We have relatively high unemployment rate at the moment in Finland. There are around 350,000 unemployed people in a population of 5.4 million people, and where the workforce is a little bit less than 3 million. People can still live relatively nicely on the benefits. They don't actually need to seek the employment because the benefits provide actually enough money to survive, even in Helsinki, which is kind of considered to be expensive city to live. At the same time, our economy is a little bit like suffering of the fact that the business with the biggest business partner of Finland, which happens to be the big neighbor on the east, has suffered a lot. And at the same time, Finnish companies should actually find new markets from the other countries to kind of like replace this loss. But it seems to be kind of like difficult because the cost of Finnish labor is relatively high. And the cost of Finnish labor is high because we have high taxes and we have relatively high social security costs. And just because of the fact that the living in Helsinki, where the business is concentrated, is kind of like expensive, then that leads to the thing that the average salary in Finland is a little bit more than 3,000 euros a month. If you add there 40% of the social security costs and then some fixed company costs and then some profit, so that there we are. Like the Finnish labor is so expensive that it's relatively difficult to export. At least it doesn't have any kind of like competitive advantage what comes to the price or that kind of things. The reason why we have so high taxes is the thing that we have along those years when the economy was doing well, especially on the times when Nokia was like booming and did have this amazing like 40% market share in the mobile devices worldwide. We ended up somehow to the situation that we have a little bit more than 600,000 people who are working on the public sector, which is a higher amount. I think that it's the second highest in Europe. Only the Greece at some point did have higher. Greece managed to make it lower. Finland hasn't managed to make it lower yet. And I'm a little bit afraid that in the next election, because there are 600,000 or 650,000 voters working on the public sector, it's very hard to make the decisions that we could get rid of, like, let's say, 1/3 of them. Even the talks about like laying off 20,000 public sector people is considered like something like cannot be done in Finland. On the other hand, today I just like happened on the way here, I just happened to read a piece of news in Finland. You know those traffic control things that what we have also here in Estonia along the street that are measuring the speed. I guess that here the data or the pictures are collected wirelessly to some like one location, and they are probably analyzed like even like with a computer. But believe or not, in Finland, a policeman goes there, puts a USB stick inside, collects the data, and if you exceed the limit with 3 kilometers an hour, you will get a written notice of that. If it's 10 kilometers an hour, you get the first ticket. If it's like more, you get the next thing. But just for the fact that someone is like really manually going there, putting the USB stick, then analyzing this data, also probably manually, and then sending like some paper to the people with a 3 kilometer an hour, like too high speed. I think that's the reason, like a small example, but that explains why we have that many authorities in Finland. And they are busy all the time, all of them, all 600,000 plus. At the same time, we have struggled with major public IT like challenges or problems. We want to unite our like healthcare system, which has been in talks like now for 10 years. And I think that we got some very nice offers from the big IT players like CGI and Tieto and those major players in Finland. And the price range was somewhere between 2 and 4 billion euros. Estonia did the same kind of system a little bit earlier, and it's working here. Those Estonian guys came to Finland, had a closer look to the requirements, and made their offer or estimate that how much it would be if it would be done here. And the price tag was like 20 million euros. I don't know, maybe now it's not anymore that Finland is looking to Estonia as a little brother. Maybe it's now the thing is that Finland is looking to the Estonia, that how they managed to keep the amount of the authorities and the cost of running the society so low. I think that has like changed a lot. And as a result of this, like you may know, or may you have read, there are currently about 6,000 Finnish-led company or Finnish-operated companies in Estonia, and the number is growing like rapidly. So those people who really employ people in Finland, they, like probably a little bit like myself as well, they have chosen, many of them, Estonia, a place where to run their businesses. And if, I mean, you mentioned about this brain drain, this is maybe a little bit like different kind of things, but these people who live Finland at the moment, they are people who really can like employ themselves, and they can employ also other people. And I think that that's something that, you know, it's also another kind of like challenge, because according to all these international studies, everybody knows that this unemployment problem, what we are suffering in Finland, this is the most of the new employment opportunities are actually created by the newborn companies. So I don't know if I'm, of course, if this is like a long answer to Kairi's like small question, but this is how it looks to me. It's like Estonia has taken such a leap that Finland, for some reason, like is at the moment on many fields a little bit like behind.
Well, I like this answer. I like to be better than Finland for sure, at least in one or two things. But it has it has been quite a long discussion. Does anybody have any questions or something to add? I know what I do. I introduce the 2 new cooks I have. Both are foreigners, and we can have a chance to thank them for the food, and also they can say something about Estonia. One is Irish and one is from Australia. Tom and Sean, I invite you here to join the group of the foreigners we are having here. Oh yeah, applaud. So Tom, would you introduce yourself first? You arrived from Ireland just 3 days ago. And remember when I was searching, because I'm one of the employers who is lacking workforce, and in food industries especially hard, and because so many cooks go to Finland, then I need to hire. I decided last year in October that workforce should be European, not Estonian, otherwise I don't survive. So I put an ad into, what's the EURES program, which is international, through the unemployment offices all over Europe, and I got a reply from Tom. My first letter to you was, remember that your salary will be half of what you're getting in Ireland, and you were scared like hell to come over to Estonia, but tell me how it is now.
It's good, like, yeah, I found everyone in Estonia was fairly inviting when I got here. I wasn't expecting it, to be honest. I thought it was kind of going to be, I don't know, I didn't know what to expect. But yeah, I don't know, everyone seems friendly. The town seems nice, just overall it seems cool. Still getting used to things, obviously. Still have a lot to figure out. But yeah, no, overall, like, I'm enjoying it so far. And hopefully I'll be here for a good while.
And Sean, I still have the temptation to say, Sean the sheep. Have you seen the cartoon? Anyway, you come from Australia, and you have, first when you came, you decided that you're not going to stay for long.
No, I was only here for 2 weeks. I was here for 2 weeks. I was only here for 2 weeks. I've been here for 7 months. I don't know, I fell in love with the country and the people. I think that the stereotype that they're not very, that they're cold is very wrong. So, yeah, I haven't seen winter yet, so.
But so far good.
So far it's been excellent.
Thank you guys, and I hope you make good food in the Kama house. So we'll probably have some Irish food on the menu and some Australian food. And you said that you can make Thai food also. Yeah, I get my menu very, very, very mixed. I don't want to have Estonian food. It's really like potato salad, and that's not Estonian either. It's German, basically. So Estonian food is, there's no Estonian food. Yeah. But to sum up the topic, I really liked the points that pointed out. Does anyone want to add something? Somebody from your group? Okay.
I'm really sorry, I need to leave. Another company waiting for me, unfortunately. But as I know, Estonian women are very beautiful. And Estonians match a lot of vodka. I think this is one of the first things you heard. We have here a great factory which make nice vodka. I'm not like alcoholic propaganda machine, but if this is made in Estonia, made in Raplas, I would like to give to all you. Hopefully you will find a nice place, a nice moment to test it and schmeck it and drink it and so on. And some local candies, 100% handmade and very natural. I will give something here and something there. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Sorry, just one thing I want to add. Lately I've visited this theater Brüsseli Kapsas. And there was just, well, what is Estonia famous for? What has Estonia to offer? Oh, we have smart IT solutions and beautiful women. And then there was something how it changes in the flow. But what I want to say is, you as a nation, you have much more to offer. You have much more to offer than the two things that I just mentioned. There's more. Well, yes, there are beautiful women, and I'm the stereotype. I live together with one Estonian woman, yes. But you have much more to offer, and this is what you should be aware of. And yes, it's a hard piece of work, and you don't have the best frame, but you should work on it. It is worth. Thank you.